Most people assume that being afraid of the dark is something we're born with, but here's the strange part. Newborn babies aren't actually afraid of darkness. They may cry because they're hungry, cold, or uncomfortable, but a dark room itself doesn't mean much to them. So if we're not born fearing the dark, when did humans first become afraid of it? And why has that fear stayed with us for hundreds of thousands of years, even in a world filled with streetlights, electricity, and locked doors? To answer that question, we have to go back long before cities, before farming, before written language, to a time when the night truly belonged to something else. Imagine standing on the African savanna around 200,000 years ago. The sun has slipped below the horizon. The last orange light fades into black. There are no flashlights, no houses, no streetlights, maybe not even a fire yet, just endless darkness stretching in every direction. During the day, your eyes could spot movement from hundreds of yards away. You could see danger coming. But once night fell, your greatest advantage disappeared. Humans have surprisingly poor night vision compared to many other animals. Our eyes evolved for daylight. We can see colors and fine details extremely well in the sun, but once darkness takes over, we become incredibly vulnerable, and the animals around us knew it. Lions, leopards, hyenas, and other predators did their best hunting after sunset. Their eyes gathered more light than ours, their hearing was sharper, their sense of smell was far more powerful. When darkness arrived, the balance of power shifted. During the day, humans could compete. At night, we became prey. This wasn't just an uncomfortable feeling. It was life or death. Our ancestors who ignored strange sounds in the dark often didn't survive long enough to pass on their genes. But those who became cautious, who froze when they heard rustling in the bushes or stayed close to their group after sunset, had a better chance of surviving. Over countless generations, natural selection favored brains that treated darkness as a signal to be extra careful. But evolution usually doesn't create specific fears. Instead, it builds flexible learning systems. Psychologists call this prepared learning. Humans aren't born afraid of darkness itself. Instead, we're born especially ready to connect darkness with danger after only a few experiences, or sometimes without experiencing real danger at all. It's the same reason children easily develop fears of snakes or spiders, but almost never become instinctively afraid of harmless things like flowers or chairs. Darkness became the perfect blank canvas for the brain's survival system, and that's where another extraordinary human ability comes into play: imagination. Unlike most animals, humans don't just react to what's happening right now. We constantly imagine what could happen next. This ability helped us invent tools, plan hunts, and predict danger, but it also came with an unexpected side effect. When vision disappears, imagination takes over. A shadow becomes a predator, a branch scraping against a tree becomes footsteps, an unfamiliar sound becomes something waiting just beyond your sight. From an evolutionary standpoint, these false alarms were actually the safer choice. Imagine hearing a noise at night. If you assume it's just the wind but it's actually a leopard, that mistake could cost you your life. But if you assume it's a predator and it turns out to be nothing, you've only wasted a little energy. Our brains evolved to prefer the less costly mistake. Scientists sometimes describe this as a bias toward false positives. It's one reason humans are so good at finding patterns, even when those patterns don't actually exist. But darkness did more than hide predators. It also hid information. Your brain is constantly building an internal picture of the world using sight, sound, touch, and memory. During the day, your eyes provide an enormous amount of reliable information every second. At night, that stream of information suddenly disappears, and the brain doesn't like uncertainty. Instead of leaving those missing pieces blank, it fills them in using guesses, memories, and expectations. Sometimes those guesses are harmless, sometimes they become monsters. Across nearly every culture on Earth, ancient stories describe mysterious beings that appear after dark. Different civilizations imagined different creatures, spirits, ghosts, demons, monsters, but they all had one thing in common. Darkness became the place where the unknown lived. It's unlikely these stories created our fear of the dark. More likely, our natural discomfort with darkness helped those stories spread from one generation to the next. Culture amplified what evolution had already started, then something extraordinary changed human history. Fire. Long before electric lights, controlled fire completely transformed the night. A campfire didn't just provide warmth. It extended the day, it scared away many predators. It allowed people to cook, socialize, make tools, and tell stories long after the sun had gone down. Around the fire, humans could finally relax in ways that had rarely been possible before. Some anthropologists even believe these nighttime gatherings helped strengthen language, cooperation, and storytelling. Ironically, the very thing that reduced our fear of darkness may have also encouraged us to tell the scary stories that kept that fear alive. As human societies grew larger, darkness slowly became less dangerous. Villages were built, walls went up, torches lit the streets. Eventually came gas lamps, electric lights, and cities so bright they can be seen from space. But our brains didn't evolve nearly as fast as our technology. Evolution works over thousands of generations. Electric lighting has existed for only a tiny fraction of that time. In biological terms, it's practically brand new. So the same nervous system that once listened for lions still reacts when we walk through an empty parking lot late at night. Even when logic tells us we're safe, those ancient survival circuits stay alert. This is especially clear in children. Most children begin developing a fear of the dark between the ages of 2 and 6. At this stage, their imagination is growing rapidly, while the parts of the brain responsible for judging real threats are still developing. A coat hanging on a chair can suddenly look like a person. A pile of toys becomes a creature hiding in the corner. As children grow older, experience usually teaches them that darkness itself isn't dangerous, but for many adults, the feeling never completely goes away. Think about the last time you walked through a dark forest, entered an abandoned building, or heard an unexpected noise while you were alone at night. Even if you knew there probably wasn't any real danger, your heart likely started beating a little faster. That reaction isn't weakness. It's millions of years of evolution speaking through your nervous system. Modern neuroscience shows that the amygdala, one of the brain's primary threat detection centers, can respond to uncertainty before we're even consciously aware of it. Darkness doesn't automatically trigger fear, but it creates exactly the kind of uncertainty these ancient survival systems evolved to monitor. In many ways, fear of the dark isn't really about darkness at all. It's about what darkness keeps us from knowing. The unknown has always challenged the human mind. Whether it was hidden behind the entrance of a cave, beyond the horizon, beneath the ocean, or concealed by the night, uncertainty has shaped both our greatest fears and our greatest discoveries. And maybe that's the most fascinating part of this story. The same imagination that once filled the darkness with predators also inspired myths, religion, science, exploration, and eventually the inventions that allowed us to push back the night itself. So the next time you turn off the lights and feel that brief moment of uneasiness, remember, you aren't just reacting to an empty room. You're experiencing the echo of countless generations who survived because they respected what they couldn't see. A reminder that our oldest fears aren't simply leftovers from the past. They're living memories woven into the remarkable story of what it means to be human.